You're listening to Beyond the Couch podcast with Dr. Sally Nazari, where we look at you beyond the couch and build ways to enrich your life, share your triumphs, achieve your goals, and most importantly, where we'll be celebrating you. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Couch podcast. I'm your host, licensed clinical psychologist and Reiki master teacher, Dr. Sally Nazari, and I'm here today with Katie K. May. Katie is a DBT certified licensed therapist for teens in Pennsylvania, and I'm so excited to have her here talking about groups. Hi, Katie. Welcome.
Hey, Sally. Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a pleasure. Now, I'd love for us to talk a little bit about groups. To get us started, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. So I run a teen support center, and I actually have 7 groups at my practice, as well as a couple of my therapists run groups as well. And so what we do is we gather groups of teens together who have anxiety, depression, self-esteem issues, self-harm behaviors, and I run a couple different kinds of groups. One of them is just kind of talk therapy in a group where they can support each other and hold the space to validate each other and help each other feel understood. And the other kind of group that I run is my DBT skills group, which is more about each week they're coming in, they're learning a new skill about how to manage difficult feelings, how to overcome obstacles in their lives, how to be more effective in relationships. So really depending on the group, there's a different goal of the group, but the idea of bringing people together to support each other and for me to support them in the process is what's so powerful and important about it.
That is really powerful, and I love groups. Now, I love the way you're describing this because many people have never experienced groups, and there's sort of a mindset that groups are just sort of this one thing, but you're referencing several different types of groups. So maybe you can tell us a little bit what exactly groups are and what they're like for people.
Absolutely. So it's funny that you say that. I just had someone recently join my group and they were kind of resistant to the process, and they came in and everyone was laughing and welcoming and really just like appreciative of each other. And this kid was like, wow, I just thought everyone was going to be staring at the wall and not talking, and it was going to be this really weird and awkward place, but I really like this. So I definitely think there's this misconception about group therapy and what it is. And you're right, it is so many different things.
What's the point of having groups for people?
Yeah, so I think that there are several different reasons. One of the biggest reasons that I would say that groups are effective is because a lot of times when people come into treatment, they feel really alone. They feel like they're the only one who's experiencing a certain thing. And so while, of course, individual therapy is so important, and to have that one person to listen to you and to help you map out how to be more effective in your life is a super important part of the healing process. Coming together as a group and hearing that other people also experience pain and anxiety and frustration with their partners and anger towards their parents and difficulties that they're trying to overcome in their lives. So having a built-in support system and accountability system that they can meet with weekly it's an amazing experience. And I think that, the way that I see it unfold is someone might come to that group the first night thinking they're the only one who thinks a certain thing or who feels a certain thing. And then they hear the experiences of other group members, and it's almost like this experiential shift in who they are and how they see themselves, that they're not weird or bad or wrong or different for having difficult emotions or experiences, that it's actually pretty normal, and it feels comforting to have other people validate that for you.
I think you said that so beautifully. There is such an experiential process with this, and it can really help join people together. So you started to give us a good understanding of what the benefits of group therapy are. Are there any other ones that we should keep in mind?
There are so many benefits. So the research actually supports that people are overall happier and physically healthier. And there's even some research that you can make more money in your career, that when you're overall more supported and happier and less depressed in your life when you have a social support system. And so I like to think, and I actually see play out in my office, that even if nothing else transpires within a group, even if there's no skill building happening, even if it's just people coming together and sharing a common experience and feeling connected to each other, that in itself is something beneficial for your health, for your happiness, for your overall life and well-being. So that's number one, is just the experience of having those other people to hold the space with you and to really connect with you. I mean, aside from that, in a therapeutic sense, it's helpful to have other people say, you know, this experience is one that I'm having too, and it's normal, so that you can actually get that deeper level of work started once you understand that you're not the only one going through an experience. And then there's the piece of learning more about yourself. So you come into a group seeing yourself in a certain way and believing that other people see you in a certain way. So, for example, if you're out there in the world thinking that other people find you annoying and other people don't really like you, but then week after week you're coming to this group where someone's saying, how was that test that you took? I was thinking about you, and I know that you were nervous about that math test. Or saying, hey, how's that argument that you had with your sister the other day? I was doing something last night and it popped into my head and I wanted to, make sure you were okay. So having that experience of other people caring about you and showing you that you're important is one that helps you change your concept of who you are as a person and how the world sees you. And that's, something I think that it's a controlled environment that can change your life in so many ways.
I think you described that so wonderfully for people on so many different levels. We can benefit from the group experience, just being around supportive people, connecting together, and get a whole different experience of not just ourselves, but our lives and the different people that are in our lives as well. Very nicely said. So let's niche down a little bit and talk about someone who's dealing with a disruption in their life. Now, the benefits that you're describing from group therapy, it makes sense that anyone could benefit very strongly. But what about group therapy makes a difference while we're navigating disruptions?
So if someone's experiencing some kind of disruption in their life, it would probably depend on what it was they were experiencing. I would probably say that not everybody is ready for a group at any given time. And there may be times like when someone's had a trauma or something more deep or intense that would not be appropriate to process within a group setting, and that individual therapy first would be more appropriate before connecting to that level of support. Or at least for talking about some pieces of it. So group isn't about sharing every single piece of everything. It's about connecting to the group as a whole. But I think that anyone who's experiencing like grief or loss or depression or anxiety or chronic pain or a number of other things that I'm not thinking about right now can connect to other people similar to them and to really benefit from having those people to share that experience with and support them as they go through that experience and give them feedback. So, maybe someone in the group is a little bit further along in their healing process and they can say to someone who's just starting, I've been there, I've been there and I know how hard it is. And I want you to know that it can get better because I'm 4 steps along in that process. So, I think that it's a little bit different than other people in that person's life. Let's say someone is really depressed and there's all these people saying it gets better, you can get through this. That's hard to hear when you're in this deep hole. But if you see someone who's only 2 steps above you in that hole, you know that it's possible, that you know that you can keep going because you see someone else who's struggling but further along, and you can see that and say, they've gotten there and I can too.
Definitely, it could be very inspiring. And I think you also make a really good point that there are different stages of healing and rebuilding our lives that people go through. And sometimes it may, like any other tool, any other activity, it may not be the right fit at that particular time. But as we go further along, we can better connect to people. And being in a group can help us see that there are so many different ways that we can grow and expand.
Exactly, yes.
So for someone who is ready to get started with a group, what kinds of things should they do to look for groups that might be helpful for them?
So one of the things that I would recommend is meeting with the therapist first. just to get a sense of who they are and kind of their style, because you want to be able to walk into that group trusting that you're going to feel supported. And obviously there's going to be some nerves, I think, for anyone when they join a group of people that they don't know, even if none of them know each other and it's that first night of group. There's some jitters there because you don't know what to expect and you don't know what you're about to experience. So what I would recommend is looking for therapists who work with people who are experiencing what it is that you're looking to get support with, and either talking to them on the phone first or meeting with them first and really getting a sense of whether you like their style and how they do things, because that's going to guide kind of how the group is run as well. So you want to make sure that your comfort level is there up front and that you trust that therapist before diving into the group experience. And I think it's helpful to get as much information as you can before you start, like what does a typical group look like and what can I expect, just so that when you're going into the experience, you have kind of a structure for what's going to unfold. And obviously you can't account for everything that every person is going to say in group, nor do you want to. You want it to organically unfold because that's what makes the process so powerful and helpful. But I think just that basic level of, do I trust and connect with this therapist, and do I like the general structure of what this group is going to provide for me?
That's an excellent recommendation for people to get started, and I love that. It's what I encourage my clients to do as well. Awesome. So, Katie, you've given us so much information. I think a lot of things for people to think about and consider, and really seeing the value of groups. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think I would just say allow yourself to be open to the process. I mean, I think that it's easy to say group isn't for me, or I get nervous around other people, or I don't know if I want other people to know me in this way. And I think that I know that it's a really scary thing to put yourself out there and allow yourself to be vulnerable. But I also know what a powerful container it can be for change for people. And I think that, group is an amazing opportunity. It's one that I experienced when I was a teen, actually, and it's one that I provide to so many others. And I think that when you can open yourself to something new, and it's an opportunity for kind of life-changing insight on who you are as a person and how you move through the world. And I would encourage everyone to try it if it feels like something that you're called to do.
I would too. I'll echo that. I think, it can be scary and it can be something that feels uncomfortable, but I think it can be so powerful and life-changing that being open and taking that risk and being vulnerable and doing it in sort of a safe and controlled way, like we offer with groups, can really be such a big step for us that can change the course of our lives. So, here's a challenge for you. You've given us a lot of information, and I think you can handle this one.
I'm up for it.
How would you sum up your message to us today in 3 sentences?
3 sentences is the biggest part of the challenge here. All right. My message is the message that I share with everyone. It's that you're not alone and you're worthy of being supported and loved and accepted for exactly who you are. And group can help you feel accepted by other people, as well as learn to love yourself in a way that makes life more worth living. And is that 3 sentences? Was that 2? Can I keep going? I don't know.
You can keep going.
You're not alone, and group is an amazing way to connect you to other people who will love you for exactly who you are and help you love yourself in a way that makes life better. That's my message.
Awesome. That's a great message, and you did it in 3 sentences. Nicely done.
Thanks.
So, Katie, you've given us a ton of important information, so much valuable insights into what makes groups such a powerful healing process, and debunked a couple of myths that people have about them. I'm sure after this, people are going to want to reach out to you, ask you some questions. How can they learn more about you and your practice?
Yeah, so if you want to find out more about me or my practice, my website is creativehealingphilly.com. We're located in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So if you're local and you have a teen who would like support, we'd love to connect with you. If you want to just connect with me and hear more about groups, I'm psyched about that too. So I'd love to hear from anyone.
Awesome. And I will link that information in the show notes as well. So thank you, Katie, for being here, being part of the show today. I wanted to thank everyone else for listening as well. And is there any other information that you'd like to add or?
No, join a group, feel supported, love yourself, let yourself be loved. That's the information.
That is great information. Very important for us. And once again, I'm here with Katie K. May from Creative Healing Philly. And I'm Dr. Sally Nazari. I look forward to connecting with you guys again soon. Until then, take care. Thanks for listening to Beyond the Couch podcast, a space for celebrating you. The contents of this episode are for informational and supplemental purposes only and not a substitute for professional services. For more access to you beyond the couch, check out www.drsallynazari.com.